Ghost Rider star. Nicolas Cage has always been one heck of a car guy. And while he never talks about his wheels in the media, we've probably seen him turn up in some ridiculously rare or expensive cars before. Still, we've got to ask, what cars does Nicolas Cage own? How many Ferraris or Lamborghinis does he drive? And of course, is there a Ghostmobile? Let's find out. Let's start with the Ferrari Enzo. When Nicolas Cage got his Rosso Corsa Ferrari Enzo in 2003, it marked the peak of his free spending era. Fresh off Gone in 60 Seconds, it seemed like he was the perfect owner for this street-legal Formula 1 machine. And truly, he kinda was. The Enzo's 6-liter V12 engine developed 651 horsepower and 485 pound-feet of torque, pushing it to 60 in 3.1 seconds and onto a 221 mile-an-hour top speed. Its F1-derived paddle shift transmission could change gears in just 150 milliseconds, and the engine's savage power band delivered an experience closer to a race car than most road vehicles. Penned by Pininfarina's Ken Okuyama, the Enzo's shape had active rear spoilers and dramatic air intakes. The carbon fiber cockpit was made with comfort at the top of its list, with fixed racing buckets and a steering wheel with just shift lights and the Manettino drive mode selector. The bare carbon fiber surfaces and lack of sound insulation showed its track-focused build, though Ferrari did include air conditioning and a basic stereo. For tech, its F1-style electro-hydraulic transmission predated today's dual-clutch systems, while the carbon ceramic brakes provided some real nice fade-free stopping power. The dashboard featured an LCD screen displaying vital stats, though navigation and infotainment were absent. When he got it, Cage paid approximately $650,000 for his Enzo. Today, these hypercars sell for $3 to $4 million at auction, with low-mileage examples approaching $5 million. Had he held onto it, it would have outperformed most traditional investments, unlike the albino King Cobra he once owned. Nicolas Cage's car collection took a crazy turn when he added an orange Lamborghini Diablo 5T, reportedly inspired by his love for a clockwork orange. This was one of only 12 Alpine Edition models of the Diablo, featuring upgraded multimedia systems and some really wild touches. Let's get talking. The Diablo VT's 6-liter V12 engine provides 550 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque to the wheels, launching them to 60 in 3.7 seconds. Its top speed of 210 miles per hour made it one of the fastest production cars of its era. The viscous traction all-wheel drive system, rare in supercars back then, provided very good grip, while the 5-speed manual transmission was just really sick for a Lamborghini. Designed by Luke Donkewolke, the Diablo's wedge-shaped body featured scissor doors, aggressive air intakes, and that signature orange paint. Inside, the cabin mixed 1990s tech with a bit of Italy, Connolly leather seats, a gated shifter, and Alpine stereo controls in the center console. The dashboard's analog gauges glowed under the orange backlighting, while the low-slung driving position made it all feel like a Grand Prix start. Despite its racing pedigree, the VT model included air conditioning for the warm summers. For its time, the Alpine Edition's tech was really brutal. A Motorola-branded infotainment system with CD changer and Alpine speakers offered the best of sound. The car lacked modern touchscreens, but used an onboard computer displaying performance data. Customizations for Cage included upgraded audio wiring and noise insulation. The unassisted steering and ceramic brakes also required more muscle to operate. Cage purchased the Diablo New in 2001 for approximately $240,000. Today, well-preserved 6.0 VT models cost about $500,000 to $700,000, with the ultra-rare Alpine Edition commanding premiums. Before we go on, please give us a like and hit the subscribe button. Also comment on the celebrity's garage you want us to do next. From the moment Nicolas Cage first laid eyes on the Bugatti Type 57C Atalante, he already had his mind on it. Come on, this was a Jean Bugatti-designed vehicle that had once belonged to the 5th Marquis of Cholmondeley, a British aristocrat whose estate, Houghton Hall, was home to this French damsel. Cage made waves when he first rolled out the Atalante at a private car event in Bel Air shortly after buying it. Apparently, it turned more heads than some of the hypercars at the event. So, how glorious is this car? The Type 57C Atalante uses a supercharged 3.3-liter straight 8 that pumps out 160 horsepower and 180 pounds-feet of torque. Not exactly so much today, but in the late 1930s, it was a real thrill. With its 4-speed manual gearbox, it could reach speeds up to 120 miles per hour. And as for fuel economy, it does about 10 to 12 miles per gallon. A fair trade-off for a supercharged pre-war Grand Tourer. Now, the car's two-tone deep royal blue and black lacquer finish was handcrafted in Molsheim, with the help of stylist Joseph Walter. Inside, the hand-stitched tan leather seats, rich walnut wood panels, and sleek dash were designed by Jean Bugatti himself. Art at its finest, to say the least. Despite its age, Cage made sure the Atalante wasn't too behind on tech. He fitted it with a hidden touchscreen for navigation, Bluetooth connectivity for his phone, and a Bang & Olufsen sound system tucked behind the original speaker. Even the steering wheel kept its classic Bugatti design, but now it's got electric assist built in. And it doesn't stop there. More on tech, there are hidden USB ports in the glove compartment, a discrete heads-up display in the gauge cluster, and a braking system that's been upgraded to make it safer on modern roads. While the car was never built for backseat passengers, Cage had the rear compartment modified with a small cooled storage drawer for his scripts, sunglasses, or even a bottle of champagne. Cage reportedly bought this Bugatti for around $1.2 million back in 2002, a pretty hefty price at the time, but one it was worth every penny. Today, it is valued between $8.5 and $10 million, though depending on its condition. Car number 4, the Bugatti Coupe Anthem. In 2001, Cage made headlines when he purchased one of the rarest cars in the world. One of 6 Bugatti Type 101C Coupe Anthem ever built. Actually, besides being rare, this car has a bit of story to it. You see, the Second World War left Bugatti's Molsheim factory in ruins. Jean Bugatti, scion and designer of the Type 57, had been killed at the wheel in 1939, and his father, founder Ettore, passed away only 8 years later. Many thought the brand was finished, but in 1951, the Type 101 emerged as Bugatti's last gasp of pre-war madness. Cage's car, bodied by Jean Anthem, debuted at the 1951 Paris Salon de l'Automobile before finding its way to America with casino tycoon Bill Harrah, whose wild car collection included 1,500 cars. For Cage, owning a car with ties to Sin City's golden era was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He wasn't gonna let go. For engine, the Type 101C runs on a 3.3-liter straight-8 engine taken from the pre-war Type 57, producing around 135 horsepower, 165 pound-feet of torque, and hitting a top speed of 100 miles per hour. And yeah, it used a 4-speed transmission too. The Anthem-bodied coupe had sweeping fenders, teardrop headlights, and a real fancy Art Deco flair. Inside, the cabin was trimmed in rich leather and polished wood, with handcrafted details that spelt out Bugatti's craftsmanship. The dashboard had classic analog gauges, while the thin-rimmed steering wheel had a tactile connection to the road. On its engineering and tech, the car featured a chassis with independent front suspension, one rare thing back in the early 50s. For comfort, Cage added a few customizations, including an upgraded audio system. The lack of power steering and brakes meant driving it required a bit of extra skill, something Cage has already. Cage paid around $300,000 for the Bugatti in 2001, but today it could be worth between $3 million to $5 million at auction, given its rarity and Hollywood tag. Sadly, Cage's financial dilemma led him to sell it in 2007, a decision he later regretted. Car number 5, the Jaguar D-Type. In 2007, Nicolas Cage added one of the craziest racing cars in history to his collection, a 1955 Jaguar D-Type, the same model that led the Le Mans in the mid-1950s. The irony wasn't lost on fans when, years later, Cage starred in Primal as a hunter obsessed with a rare white Jaguar. The D-Type was a technological marvel, especially since only 53 models ever made. Unfortunately, like many of his expensive possessions, financial troubles forced Cage to sell it in 2009, painfully ending his mini race career. Beneath its long curvaceous hood is a 3.4-liter inline-6 that produces 250 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. Paired with a 4-speed manual transmission, this car could hit 60 in just 4.7 seconds. Often at a top speed of 170 miles per hour. The car's lightweight aluminum monocoque chassis and aerodynamic bodywork helped it dominate at Le Mans, securing 3 consecutive victories from 1955 to 1957. The D-Type's exterior has the iconic long-nose silhouette, finned rear for stability, and a center-mounted windshield were all optimized for racing. Inside, the cockpit was purposeful, especially with a leather-wrapped steering wheel, simple toggle switches, and a dashboard only with the necessary gauges. Being a driver's car, it had a single-seat configuration, though later models had a passenger seat. Tech in the D-Type was cutting edge for the 1950s, but a little too bare by today's. There were no speakers, touchscreens, or infotainment. Just the mechanical song played by the XK engine and the whine of its straight-cut gears. The car had drum brakes, which required a little bit of extra to modulate at high speeds, and a suspension tuned for the track. The only connectivity was the direct link between man and machine, with every input: steering, throttle, braking, requiring a good amount of precision. When Cage bought the D-Type in 2007, it was already a multi-million-dollar machine, costing him around $4 million. Today, well-documented models go for $20 million at auction. Too pricey? Come on, it's a vintage Jaguar. Nicolas Cage once owned the perfect California car, a Porsche 356 Pre-A Speedster, the open-top variant of Porsche's first production car. Designed by Ferry Porsche, the Speedster was just the best for cruising Malibu's Pacific Coast Highway, something Cage surely enjoyed from his $24 million oceanfront home. Like many of his prized possessions though, financial troubles forced its sale. Anyway, let's talk about this car. Powered by a rear-mounted 1.5-liter flat-4 engine, the Prius Speedster produced 55 horsepower and 76 pound-feet of torque. With these, the car's 1,600-pound construction allowed a top speed of 100 miles per hour. Though not a straight-line powerhouse, the car's balanced chassis and steering made it a joy on winding roads. The Speedster's low, raked windshield, rounded fenders, and removable canvas top gave it this sweet wind-in-your-hair feel. Inside, the cabin wasn't too bad, especially with its vinyl bucket seats, a simple 3-spoke steering wheel, and a clean dashboard with just a speedometer, fuel gauge, and a few switches. There was no carpeting, sound deadening, or excessive trim, thus keeping weight down and driver engagement high. Tech was a little rudimentary though. There were no speakers, touchscreens, or power assists, just a basic AM radio for those who opted for it. The steering was unassisted, the brakes were drum-based, and the only infotainment was the mechanical feedback from the road. Cage bought the Speedster in the early 2000s, paying around $150,000 for a well-preserved example. Today, good Pre-A Speedsters go for over $300,000, with Concours quality models exceeding $500,000. And finally, the Rolls-Royce Phantom II. In 2006, Nicolas Cage bought one of just 1993 Rolls-Royce Phantom II coupe ever built with a fixed-head coupe body. For a fact, what makes this car rarer is its coachwork by Hooper & Company, one of only 2 Phantom IIs crafted by the legendary coach builder. Cage later featured this car in his 2010 film, The Sorcerer's Apprentice, cleverly scripting it off as a business expense. The Phantom II coupe boasts a wild 7.7-liter inline-6 powerhouse, producing around 120 horsepower and 220 pound-feet of torque. While its top speed is a modest 90, the car's smoothness and unhurried acceleration is the main pride of Rolls-Royce. The exterior bears Hooper's sleek, flowing lines and a deep paint finish often used in classic Rolls-Royce hues like Brewster green or black. The interior is equally as wild, featuring hand-stitched leather seats, polished wood veneers, and Art Deco-inspired details. The dashboard, made from burr walnut, bears original gauges and switches, all preserved in the best condition. Despite its age, the cabin remains whisper quiet thanks to Rolls-Royce's commitment to luxury and, well, brilliant soundproofing. Still inside, the steering is unassisted but really precise, requiring a gentle touch. That it lacks screens or infotainment is compensated by the car's mechanical artistry. However, customizations like a discreetly integrated vintage-style audio system allow Cage to enjoy music without having to break the car into pieces. The brakes, though mechanical, are really huge for their era, and the suspension, with its semi-elliptical springs, glides over potholes with ease. Cage reportedly purchased the car for around $1.5 million. Today, its value has appreciated, with similar Phantom II models going for as high as $2.5 million at auction. And just so you know, this was just one of his 9 Phantoms he owns. If you like this, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and hit the subscribe button so we can update you on all our upcoming content. Also, comment what celebrity car collection you want us to do next. We'll catch you in the next one.